Call to order at 6:01 PM on February 18th, 2020 for the Chesapeake Beach Ethics Commission. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two sets of minutes. One is for January 9th, 2020. Does anyone have any corrections or improvements?
No.
No.
Then the other is for January 10th. Some question raised as to what our March meeting date was supposed to be.
I think we agreed, wasn't that the 11th?
I think it was, we just talked about what time. What time do you all want it to be?
All right, so actually, if anyone, this says
It was
March
to 1
11th.
o'clock.
About- If anyone, that's open to be reconsidered tonight.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
minutes, without any further discussion, the minutes of January 10th are also approved. See on the agenda, text. Third from the end. Third from the last. Two pages here. Towards the end, there's a two-page document, one, an email from Fred Sussman.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Right after that is the subject of paragraph C on our agenda. Noted before, one of the members of the council, this is a work session, drew my attention to his reading of what we had proposed as 2524B. Pointed out it was nonsense. So, that sent something to the mayor saying we would have no objection to it being replaced by the model language. And it turns out we're having this meeting prior to the meeting at which the ordinance will be voted on. So I think it's appropriate to tell the council formally we've reconsidered and note that Fred Sussman has concurred that it's totally legal anyhow. So, to read the motion, what the heck. Commission recommends the town council substitute the following for the section 25-24B as introduced. Quote, section 2524B. A former elected official may not assist or represent another party for compensation in a matter that is the subject of legislative action for one calendar year after the elected official leaves office. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, indicate by
Well,
saying
a
aye.
point of clarification. Is it may not represent another party for compensation in a manner that is related to the town of Chesapeake? Shouldn't it be the town of Chesapeake Beach?
That is the subject of legislative action by the town of Chesapeake Beach?
Yeah, something like that. Because the way you have it worded, if they represented North Beach, then it would be in violation.
Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
Now read, former elected official may not assist or represent another party for compensation in a matter that is a subject of legislative action by the town of Chesapeake Beach for 1 calendar year after the elected official leaves office.
Perfect.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Passes unanimously. I need to say that I am deeply embarrassed by the mistake. I'm assuming I drafted it. All of us have a little bit of, I mean, the fact is, I drafted it, I say that I read it, but it took one of the council members to, it could mean, 6 years.
Right.
When we get back into, if we get back into changes in the ordinance, each of us has to take the time. Now, in fairness to all of us, it was 20 pages worth.
Right.
Come in
Yeah.
with 4 items, but really each of us should, sit down someplace in a quiet place, read it out loud, figure out what it means. Okay, next thing on the agenda. Current rules of procedure say that you cannot vote on a change in the rules of procedure at the meeting that it was introduced. I think we got it in writing from Fred. In practice, that means you can't even amend it. I'm introducing this, but obviously cannot be voted on at this meeting, because we're under the old rules. But to say that the amendments can be voted on at the meeting. Vote on at the meeting at which they're introduced in a subsequent meeting. Anyone have any preliminary?
I guess the whole thought process behind that is that, you want to make sure that you take adequate time to consider it and mull over it, and that prevents pushing and rushing things through.
My thinking on that, if it ever happens that we rush something through and it's, blunder, then somebody we should move to restore the current language. Awkwardness, especially Fred's right. We can't even substitute, later meeting improved language. Now, and if all three of us will think about, your point is the reason.
So
And
his,
maybe we
I
should.
mean, just like when you consider town council introduces something at one meeting and then they come back a month later and then they vote on it, and
I think, doesn't the town council, they can amend stuff at the, in fact, the premise of what we just did was that Thursday they will amend the draft ordinance that was introduced. Fred's right, we don't even have that flexibility. So I mean, obviously there's benefits to both approaches. Speaking of Fred, a very interesting discussion with him over the phone. He said, of course he's available to be, if in a meeting we have a legal issue, you can call him. Now, he was thinking of the 1 p.m. meeting,
right?
but I mean, that's a clarification isn't the same as his listening in on phone, taking initiative. But I think it really would be a great convenience.
Sure, that's very helpful.
The other thing is, I did after I got his response on the Open Meetings Act. I actually read the damn thing. No, I didn't read. I read their commission's explanation of it,
Mhm.
and I will forward it to both of you. As well as the act itself. One of the things that he found wonderful is you can take legal advice in a closed meeting. It still doesn't get us to what I'd like to do is, the three of us drive up to Annapolis. But and it does make a distinction, or I read a distinction between clearly what we can't do. What we could do if Fred were here or on the phone, we go in the next room and ask him a legal question. We cannot then say among us, oh, if that's the case, well, let's do such and such. Let's do such and such has to be done in public. Another thing which I think would be difficult is purely legal advice. Fred gives us is both legal and practical advice. Policy, we keep asking him, it's not so much, what do these words in the statute mean? It's, how do your other clients deal
Right,
with this?
right.
And that's not legal advice, I think. Well, that's, I totally, I'll report to him tomorrow, so do by email.
We agree also to give him kind of updates as to our forthcoming meetings, so
Yes,
he
absolutely.
knows what's going on. And
Yeah.
is
I
he
do
getting
want-
the agendas?
Well, this is our first time, isn't it? Or no?
Second
Liz.
time.
Yeah, I think that he is.
Yeah, but well, okay. Certainly what we have to do is, if there's any documents, they actually go to them a week or two in advance, as far in advance as possible. I guess, also can make a judgment and recommend to us in a particular case. Really, he ought to be at the next meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Complexity or whatever. So far, first try, sent 3 things to him in advance, which he could respond to, both as a allow.
Which was very helpful.
Extraordinary, yeah, that's the main thing we should be paying for. So, fortunately, in fact, I told him, our tentative plan is if the legal issue comes up at the meeting, then we will call him the next day. And that's when he said, well, call me right now. Although it actually, no, not for, I still feel that we get better legal advice if don't ask for it immediately.
And he spoke to that a little bit when we met previously about talking off the cuff.
Yeah, he doesn't,
Doesn't like.
no.
Excuse me.
No motion.
Can you all come to the microphones when
Sorry.
you talk? Because it won't pick it up.
Sorry.
Most clients want that. Most lawyers give in to it. I almost lost my job once. I don't know what the answer is, and I'm not going to give you my guess.
You wanted it right then and
Wanted
there.
that- Well, and all the other 3 lawyers that have each spoken up
Mhm.
without having researched it.
Mm-hmm. What say you?
Yeah, and made me look like an incompetent. Okay, next item is discussion of schedule for financial disclosures, including modification of forms from last year. The modifications will be on the agenda for our next meeting, which, let's see. Again, consistent with the Open Meetings Act, it can send a draft early next week, and each of you can, sometime before the meeting, respond to that draft, make suggestions, questions, as long as we don't, you ask a question, I don't respond. And that, this is, again, this is something that would definitely go to Fred. History is that he does.
Bill, I'm a little confused here. Are you saying that if we change the financial disclosure form, make recommendations next meeting, then we can't vote on it until the following meeting?
No, we definitely can vote.
Oh, okay.
Forms are not part of the rules.
Not part of the rules. Okay.
I don't know whether I mentioned it before, but I put it in the, Holly said, no problem. We put the forms together. She'll get them translated into
Oh, okay. Great.
that, especially with the non-elected officials doing substantial amounts for the first time. Hopefully, that should make everything
Yeah, that's very helpful.
helpful, yeah. Okay, I do, yeah, one of the, besides modifications that may be necessary, or the additions that'll be necessary because of changes in the ethics ordinance. And if everyone would just look at the darn things from last year, see what can be clarified.
Mhm.
I'm going to go, I have to look at them because I think one of the council members made an objection to, he said something, I understand what you're getting at, and here's information. But, you know, the question itself didn't ask, wasn't the right question. So, the three of us looking at it, and we all get frustrated. I get frustrated. Questionnaires or forms that you have to fill out.
Mhm.
Okay. Next regular meeting, can we do 1 p.m. on March 11th?
That works. Does that work for you?
It works good with me.
I think we should keep at least a possibility of a follow-up meeting. 11th. Questions are raised and we can't answer them immediately.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, you know, they have to be turned in by April 30th, right?
Mhm.
A month, and we feel guilty about. I think we can put them online on April 1
Right.
to April Fool's.
Not the best connotation there.
No. Scheduled for March 11th at 1 p.m. Comments by anybody?
Where's the snow?
Yeah, well, that's the whole point.
Where's winter?
I know.
My grass
Mar-
is starting to turn green.
And the birds, I mean, the wetlands are starting to fill up with blackbirds.
Oh, yeah. We've had robins in our yard for
You've seen-
about
yeah.
3 weeks now.
I guess we're no longer a 4-season place. We're just a
Boy.
3-season.
Very.
It is. We had that one little snow in December, and that was it.
Whoever thought we'd be looking for snowmageddon. Did you guys have it bad down here? It was a February storm, the cold snow.
Oh, 10 years ago?
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
have,
that
yes.
was naughty. We had 30-some inches of snow.
Okay, well, all right.
And that wasn't that long ago. It's 10 years.
I know.
Yeah, no.
To go from that to this.
One of those really naughty was 96. I don't know if you were here.
I wasn't here.
We had like 36 inches and then we had 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, goodness.
We were living at the townhouses in Chesapeake Station. It was like a glacier
Hmm.
where they had plowed the road. You know, it was like you couldn't get out of there. It was like,
Mm.
Okay, we had those comments. All in favor of adjourning indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:22.
We were getting good, aren't we?
Yeah. And Sharon, thank you.
on the election, okay, we're going to have to review all the people on the election 45 days prior to